word walls. What do we know? We know that they're usually organized A through Z. Words are listed by the first letter. The focus tends to be different in every classroom when it comes to working with word walls. And oftentimes, I believe it functions as wallpaper. That word wall has been posted, and it's all fine and good. But the idea that it's up there and we never reference it, it's not very helpful. So it's just functioning as wallpaper, as a decorative piece, not as an interactive teaching tool. So here's I have some examples of word walls from classrooms that I visited, and this is one that you can see. It's pretty overwhelming. There's not real organization to this. There's no organization to this word wall, and I think that there was probably a serious misunderstanding of what's the purpose of a word wall when looking at something like this. And I have to say, this isn't the one that I saw when I visited a first grade classroom, but a first grade classroom had the more common Dolch words, and they were all in random order. And I asked the teacher, why don't you have them in a certain order? And he said, well, when I call out a word, I want my students to be able to find that word on the word wall. And so I like to mix them all up. And that's fine if you're a reader, but if you're not a reader, especially kindergarten, first, and even in the second grade, our students need organization. They need things to be systematic, and they need to be able to find things easily. They need that repetition and practice. So we do want them to be organized and our students to know how to use the word wall, because if I'm not a strong reader, this is not helpful for me at all. I also find this is the most common way that we organize excuse me, our word walls in our classrooms, the A through Z, and that makes sense. And you see on this word wall the standard alphabet posted above it, alphabetical order, and everything's organized in that way. You'll notice on this word wall, you'll see, for example, under the letter O, or next to it, you see of and out. That's just to the right of the O. Underneath the O, you see one, and then October and orange. Well, if I'm a beginning reader and I'm trying to find of, I'm probably not looking at the O. If I'm trying to find the word one, as in the number one, I'm probably not looking under O. And out, ow, what's happening with that sound? And again, oh, you told me to go look under the O. So as adults, we tend to organize everything about that beginning by that beginning letter, and we don't think about sound. But I want you to walk away from this thinking that kids come at reading from speech to print, as my mentor and friend Louisa Motes says, has written her book, Speech to Print. That's how it works. Our kids know about sounds, but they don't know about print. They can figure out the beginning sound in a word, but then we tell them, oh, of goes under O, and out goes under O, and orange, look under the O, for goodness sake. And that's really confusing. Again, we tend to use letter names, as I've just said. We have a disregard for sound. And oftentimes, we even move into helping our students identify things by shape. And so you see these nice words on this word wall, and the teacher has cut out the shapes, which is fine, but that's not a strategy for learning to read. It's if I relied on shape to help me figure out how to read, I would be in real trouble. So that's not going to help me at all. And that's been a strategy that's been promoted some, but not having students outline the shapes of words is really has nothing to do with the linguistic form of words. Here's another example. So confusions about the letter S. So those little carrots represent the letter name. The S that says the sound, and I see the word see. But what about the SH that says the sh sound, as in the word she? So again, when we limit to just the use of single letters, we oftentimes create these confusions for our students. And now I'm putting SH, the sh sound, under the letter S. And we see under the T, as you saw in the previous slide too, that the word to is fine, but what about the and this? That doesn't begin with a t sound. So as a student, as I'm looking for the, an extremely common word that I need to learn quickly and early on, um, is under the T. But you keep telling me that TH, that word is not to he, as oftentimes our kids try to read, it's the. So that causes confusion. That's a complete disconnect for me now as a beginning reader, because I'm looking at these letters and I'm thinking every letter has a single sound. I'm not understanding these digraphs as in SH and TH, but you keep putting them under these letter names. So I have to figure this out on my own. And many of our students get stuck at this level and they don't understand that that's not where it ends. So we know that our students, why do we have these walls? Why do we use them? Because we want our students to master the most common words. And we have our high frequency words, the Dolch list, the Fry list, the 220 most common words, as we call them. We have sight words. Some of them are irregular. And we use these walls to help our students develop that practice in reading these. But again, I'm hoping that I'm already challenging you to think about why would I consider changing what I've always done? And why would that be beneficial to my students? One of the things that I want you to be aware of is that it's a lot easier for your students to make the shift than it is for us as adults. Change